Hello everybody. Today we will be reviewing the first of the live-action Batman movies starring Christian Bale. The first one being Batman Begins, which was actually way back in 2005. I did not realize it was quite that old of a movie, but I guess the second one here came out in 2008, and the third one came out in 2012. Holy crap. So there hasn't been a... I wish they had have continued on with the Christian Bale series, but I guess he didn't originally want to be Batman, or so I think I've read or heard somewhere. But anyway, yeah, I don't think I've seen this one since it came out. I think I just kind of disregarded this one because I kind of forgot about it, to be completely honest. Because I guess the other two movies with Heath Ledger as Joker and Tom Hardy as Bane kind of just took over the whole series as a whole, but this movie was actually, now going back and watching it again, it was actually quite good. There were some flaws in it though. The voice act, or the Christian Bale's voice kind of went back and forth a little bit too much when he was in the Batman suit, and maybe he was doing that maybe he was doing that on purpose for certain people to kind of let them know a little bit as to who he was under the mask. I don't know. Or maybe it was just he was still kind of in that learning process of getting the voice he wanted for the Batman character, I suppose. That could be. I'm not really sure. Other than that, I didn't really have too many complaints about this movie. So it starts out with Bruce Wayne in jail in a foreign country, not really sure where, but then he's found by Ra's al Ghul and the League of Shadows, and I guess the guy under Ra's al Ghul, or as you probably know if you've seen this movie now. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Okay, so as I was saying, he's been brought in to be trained in the League of Shadows by Ra's al Ghul and the guy under Ra's al Ghul. But as you probably know if you've seen this movie, it ends up being later on in the film that Liam Neeson, who trained Christian Bale or Bruce Wayne in the beginning, is actually Ra's al Ghul. He was hiding his true identity, and he comes back to Gotham to basically fulfill his goal of creating mass fear in Gotham and destroying it from, I guess, kind of like the inside out, with the people in Gotham, I suppose, is what his plan was. He has, obviously, Falcone is the big gang leader in Gotham. He's the one who has the most control in this movie anyhow. But I guess the doctor, was it Grant? Dr. Grant? They don't really say his name too many times, but anyhow, the guy who plays Scarecrow in this movie is working for Ra's al Ghul, and obviously Falcone is terrified of Ra's al Ghul, and eventually he's trying to pay off the doctor to get all of his gang members, or I guess his lackeys, basically, time out of prison, so he's just getting them all sentenced to psychiatric help to be in Arkham Asylum, rather than taken off to prison, where they would probably serve longer sentences, and then that way they can be released earlier, because they'll go through the therapy and they'll be cured, right? That sort of deal. Anyhow, Scarecrow goes against that and ends up making Falcone crazy as well. And in the end, it kind of backfires on him because Batman uses his own gas against him. And then he starts to go a little crazy, and he ends up getting tased by Rachel, who is the love interest of Batman in this movie. Sorry, let me just exit Netflix here so that a trailer or something doesn't go off. So yeah, that would be the love interest of Batman in this movie, or Bruce Wayne, either one. You can tell there's kind of something there. So basically, their plan is dumping all of the hallucinogen into the water main of Gotham, and then blowing it up with, I guess, impulse device that sends out like a sound frequency or something that basically turns everything into vapor. I'm not really sure what the full capabilities of the device were, but it's pretty insane if it sends out enough, if it sends out a strong enough pulse to turn water into vapor. That's a pretty powerful device, I would say. So that was basically their plan. It looks like they're going to get it done, but after Ra's al Ghul comes back during Bruce Wayne's birthday and ends up burning down the manor, and it looks like Bruce might be defeated, he's able to come back and defeat Ra's al Ghul and stop the train that they are going to use from the island into the main city of Gotham. And the main part of the main source of the water comes from right under Wayne Enterprises. Yeah, the tower. Or Wayne Towers, Wayne Enterprises, I do believe. So Bruce, with the help of, God, why can't I think of his name now? Gordon. I'm not sure he's commissioner yet. I think he's still just a cop. I don't think he gets the commissioner. I don't think he's sworn in as commissioner till later on in the series. If I do believe that's correct. If not, I'm sorry. Don't quote me on that for 100%, but I don't believe he's commissioner till the second movie. I believe that's how it works. Anyhow, yeah, between Batman and Gordon's help, they're able to bring down the train, and at the end, Ra's al Ghul does end up dying, even though it's not technically by Batman's hand. He tells him that he doesn't have to. He's not going to kill him, but he also doesn't have to save him. So it's kind of like his way around not necessarily murdering him, I guess. Even though he could have potentially stuck him in Arkham Asylum, but I guess for the movie, it's kind of like his own sense of justice. Although Batman isn't really known for not killing anybody, even if it's not by technically his own hand, he has killed in the past, I suppose, even if it's not, yeah, technically by his own hand, even if it's his own form of justice, it's still technically killing. Second degree, I don't know how they would class that, second degree or manslaughter, I'm not really sure, but anyhow, he's not the perfect hero, that's for sure. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, he does save Gotham, so technically, I guess that kind of overshadows him killing one person, I suppose, in a way. I don't know. It's really however you want to perceive it, I suppose. What else can I say? There were quite a few kind of iconic lines, I guess, in this film that I didn't really realize. One of them being in the beginning prison scene where he says to the guy who I guess kind of goes around and thinks he owns the prison, he tells Bruce that he's in hell and he's the devil, and Bruce takes a couple punches from this guy, gets up and says, "You're not the devil, you're just practice," which was a line that really stuck out to me. And when Rachel first runs into him, she says to him, it's, what was it? It's not who I am, it's what I do that defines me, I believe is the line. I might have that a little off, but I think I'm pretty close. But that one was more one of the ones that stuck with me. And obviously, Alfred is a huge part of this film, as well as Fox, who was played by Morgan Freeman. I'd forgotten he was even in the first movie, to be honest. I thought he was brought in on the second one, to be Bruce's kind of like, basically his technician, I suppose, in a way, because he creates all of his weaponry and vehicles and stuff. So yeah, I guess he would be his tech guy. And Alfred's just there as the butler to assist Bruce in any other way that he can. But yeah, Alfred never gives up on Bruce, regardless of what Bruce might think that he can and can't do. Alfred tells him anything is possible, basically, in his own way. And at one point, he even saves him and delivers probably the funniest line in the movie. He says, "If you're what good are all those push-ups if you can't even lift a log off yourself?" Even though it was like a whole like beam that had fallen down from the ceiling when he was fighting Ra's al Ghul in the manor, and it ends up knocking him out. But they are able to make it out of the house right before Wayne Manor falls. And I think that's probably about all I can really say about this movie. Other than, oh, there's one more thing. I guess at the beginning, when right before Bruce is going to be sworn in as a member of the League of Shadows, he's supposed to kill this guy that's committed some sort of crime, but he says that that's not the way to do it. There's another way around it. You just gotta strike some sort of fear into them to not make them do the crime again. So that's kind of how he slowly transitions into the Batman character. And it is kind of cool because it shows him overcome his fears from when he was a child. I guess that was the whole point of the training in the League of Shadows. So he did learn something from it, because he ends up building part of his... I guess he ends up building kind of like his own Batcave in this movie, in a sense, with some of the structure from the house that goes underground. I believe he builds onto it more in the second and third film, if I'm not mistaken. He definitely does, because I believe at the end it kind of sets up for him to rebuild Wayne Manor, and obviously he has a talk with Gordon at the end of the movie, and you see the Joker card, so that's a really big setup for the second film, which I will be reviewing here in the very near future, because I want to get the Batman animated series going again, and so I can move forward with my regularly scheduled stuff, as well as continue into this, and do some Tubi movies as well. Yeah, so I would say actually going back and watching this movie, I'd give it a 9 out of 10 for the iconic lines, the action in it. The storyline was really good. Obviously Scarecrow, one of my more favorite characters as a villain, even though they probably could have done more with him in this movie, as opposed to, like, outfit-wise. This suit was kind of a bad choice. Yeah, he could have easily had something underneath the suit, even just made it a size bigger so that he had some sort of other costume when he was transformed into the Scarecrow character, and then he could have put the suit back on in certain scenes to become the Doctor again, right? It would have made more sense, but anyway, the mask was still a cool concept, I guess, and the hallucinogenic spray. And obviously the Batman voice was kind of here and there in the movie for certain people, so I would say that was the only three flaws, as I probably touched on before. But anyhow, other than that, I don't think I had any other complaints about this movie. So yeah, that's the only reasons I would give it a 9 out of 10 and not a 10 out of 10. Just because I had a few slight flaws that they could have worked on. I mean, hell, they could even go back and redo this movie. I would not be mad about that. But leave your thoughts on this movie. If you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, maybe go watch it before this review, because there's probably some spoilers in here. Or maybe you like to watch the review just to kind of get a sense of what the movie's about. So if you're watching it before you go watch the movie, please leave a comment too, just to know, so I kind of know if I'm doing a good job on this or not. And yeah, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.